Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we're going to be learning about the biggest of the gas giant planets in our solar system, Jupiter. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. We all learned that the planets in our solar system orbit the sun. We also learned that everything that has mass has a gravitational pull. Could it be that Jupiter is so massive it doesn't actually orbit the sun, and instead both Jupiter and the sun pull on each other to orbit a common point in empty space? What do you think? Is this an actual fact or a cosmic misunderstanding? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is Jovian, Jovian. Jovian is an adjective that means relating to the planet Jupiter or to the Roman god Jupiter. In astronomy, you'll often hear scientists refer to Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune as the Jovian planets. This is another way of saying they're gas giants, meaning they are large planets composed mostly of gases like hydrogen and helium with a relatively small rocky core. So, if you hear something described as having Jovian characteristics, it means it's big, gassy, and Jupiter-like. The word's origin comes from mythology. Ancient Romans named the fifth planet from the sun after their king of the gods, who was also the god of the sky and thunder. Another name for the Roman god Jupiter was Jove, Jove. As the English language evolved, the name Jove was used to create the adjective Jovian, meaning of or pertaining to Jove. When astronomers began studying the planets more closely, they adopted this classical term to describe not only Jupiter itself, but also other planets that shared its gigantic gaseous nature. It's just amazing how much our language and even modern science are still influenced by ancient mythology. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about Jupiter. Number 1, Jupiter is so big that all the other planets in our solar system could fit inside of it. If you were to take all 7 other planets in our solar system, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, if you place them all side by side, Jupiter would still be more than twice as massive as all of them combined. Its diameter is about 11 times that of Earth. To put that in perspective, if Earth were the size of a grape, Jupiter would be about the size of a basketball. And this colossal size has a huge effect on the rest of the solar system. Jupiter's gravity is incredibly powerful, acting like a gigantic cosmic bodyguard for Earth. It pulls in or flings away comets and asteroids that might otherwise be on a collision course with our planet. Scientists believe that without Jupiter's gravitational shield, Earth would have been struck by life-threatening space objects far more frequently, possibly preventing life from ever gaining a foothold. So, in a way, we owe our existence to our planetary big brother. Number 2, Jupiter is home to a massive storm called the Great Red Spot, and it's been raging for at least about 200 years. The Great Red Spot is the most famous feature on Jupiter. It's a gigantic swirling storm of crimson-colored clouds that's wider than our entire planet. At its peak, it was estimated to be about 3 times the width of Earth, although it has been shrinking over the past century. Wind speeds inside this storm can reach a blistering 400 miles per hour, or 644 kilometers an hour, which is far more powerful than any hurricane ever recorded on Earth. Astronomers have been observing this superstorm since at least the 1830s and possibly even earlier, meaning that it has been continuously active for about 200 years and likely much longer. Unlike storms on Earth that form over water and die out on land, Jupiter's Great Red Spot has no land to stop it. It's a high pressure system floating in Jupiter's atmosphere, sustained by the planet's incredibly fast rotation. It is, for all intents and purposes, a permanent hurricane that has defined the face of the planet for generations. Number 3. While Earth has one moon, Jupiter has an astonishing 95 officially recognized moons. Jupiter is like a mini solar system all on its own. For centuries, we only knew about the 4 largest moons, which were discovered by the astronomer Galileo Galilei in 1610. These are named Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. They're so large that you can see them from Earth with just a pair of binoculars on a clear night. In fact, one of them, Ganymede, is the largest moon in our entire solar system. It's even bigger than the planet Mercury. The other moons are much smaller and were discovered more recently with powerful telescopes and space probes like Voyager and Juno. These moons are a diverse bunch. Some, like the Galilean moons, are spherical worlds that may harbor hidden oceans of liquid water, making them prime candidates in the search for extraterrestrial life. Others are tiny, oddly shaped objects that were likely captured asteroids pulled in by Jupiter's immense gravity. Studying these many moons gives scientists clues about how our solar system formed and evolved. Number 4. Just like Saturn, Jupiter has rings, but they're so dark and faint they were undiscovered for centuries. When we think about planetary rings, Saturn almost always comes to mind with its bright, beautiful, icy rings. For a long time, we thought it was the only ringed planet, but it turns out all 4 of the gas giants, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, have ring systems. Jupiter's rings are exceptionally difficult to see. They're composed mostly of tiny particles of dust, not shiny ice like Saturn's rings, so they don't reflect much sunlight. It wasn't until 1979, when NASA's Voyager 1 spacecraft flew by Jupiter, that we got our first confirmation that the rings existed. The probe took photos as it passed through the planet's shadow, which allowed the faint, dusty rings to be backlit by the sun, making them visible for the first time. Scientists believe that the dust that makes up the rings are kicked up from Jupiter's small inner moons when they're struck by micrometeoroids. And our 5th and final fun fact for today: Jupiter's magnetic field is nearly 20,000 times stronger than Earth's, creating the most spectacular auroras in the solar system. If you love the northern or southern lights on Earth, you would be amazed by the light shows on Jupiter. The planet has the most powerful magnetic field of any planet in our solar system, a result of the swirling, electrically conducting metallic hydrogen deep in its core. This magnetic field creates a vast bubble around the planet called the magnetosphere, which traps charged particles from the solar wind. When these charged particles are funneled towards Jupiter's poles, they create dazzling auroras. These auroras on Jupiter are hundreds of times more powerful than Earth's and are much larger than our entire planet. Unlike Earth's auroras, which are mostly driven by the solar wind, Jupiter's are also supercharged by particles spewing from its volcanic moon, Io. This creates an unbelievably intense light show in wavelengths our eyes can't see, like ultraviolet and X-rays. NASA's Hubble Space Telescope and Juno spacecraft have captured stunning images of these auroras, revealing a constant, beautiful dance of light at the poles of this gas giant. Now for some news you can use. Have you ever wanted to be a part of a real NASA mission? Well, you can. Here's a tip for becoming a citizen scientist. NASA's Juno spacecraft is currently orbiting Jupiter and taking incredible pictures with its camera called JunoCam. The cool part is NASA is involving the public. That means you actually have the opportunity to help decide what it takes pictures of. You can go to NASA's JunoCam website and vote on points of interest in Jupiter's atmosphere that you find fascinating. People like you can also help process the raw images that Juno sends back, turning them into the beautiful, colorful portraits of Jupiter we see online. It's a real way to contribute to space exploration and see the most massive planet in our solar system like never before. So if that kind of thing interests you, check the show notes. I'll include a link to NASA's JunoCam website. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked if it's true that Jupiter is so big it doesn't actually orbit the sun. Believe it or not, that's a fact. In any system of orbiting bodies, the objects don't orbit the direct center of the larger object. Instead, they both orbit a shared center of mass called the barycenter. For the Earth and the Sun, the barycenter is so close to the Sun's center that we just say the Earth orbits the Sun. But Jupiter is so massive, over 300 times more massive than Earth, it pulls that common center of mass outside the Sun itself. This barycenter is located about 30,000 miles or 48,000 kilometers above the Sun's surface. So, while other planets cause the Sun to wobble slightly, Jupiter is the only one massive enough to make the Sun orbit a point that is in empty space. It's a tiny variation in the grand dance of the cosmos, but it's a powerful reminder of just how gigantic and influential Jupiter truly is. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about Jupiter with me today. Be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.